y'all? What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Old School versus New School. What's going on, Alex?
I'm chilling. TheeEnicole, how you doing? I see you like doing your little dance. You always do that little dance before we get started. What is
Listen,
that?
I don't know what it is. Every show has its own little thing. I don't know. I we have a nice little run. This is episode what, like 35?
Gotta be at least 35, 36. Yeah, we gonna celebrate that 50 ball. You know?
Yes, very soon.
Yeah,
I'm
very.
excited about it. I don't
Yeah,
know. I be having all my little quirks on all our shows. I don't know.
yeah. But I'll be just getting ready. I'm not sure if you ready. I know you don't really do holidays like that, but I'm just trying to get this holiday done and get into this new year and get my plans in action. You know what I mean?
No pagan holidays for me.
Yeah, I can dig it. And I feel you on it because I've been saying that for years. But since my thing is nobody's going to work, nobody's going to school, nobody's doing anything, I use it for family time. We love on one another and that's it.
Whatever
You
helps
know.
you sleep at night.
Yeah. What helps me sleep at night, I can't stay on the air, but
Oh my God. And this is no disrespect to anybody. Y'all do what y'all want to do. I just answer to who I answer to. So I just
right.
don't do that. I feel every day you wake up is a holiday. Every
Yeah.
day
Oh
you
yeah.
wake up and you have breath to breathe is a blessing. So
hmm
I'm not
Yeah.
with the
That.
holidays,
And,
especially
and
with the fake love. I don't like the fake love.
oh
Like
yeah.
how on Easter you see people who never step foot in the church. Like you don't even. I digress. Y'all
And
know.
and and, and dress up. And take their kids dressed up. Never take the kids all year. They don't go all year. But on Easter Sunday, they in attendance.
It's crazy.
I
But
don't understand.
I'm not here to judge, and I'm not sitting on nobody's jury. So,
Yeah, that's a fact. But I gotta get you one of these. I gotta get you one of these shirts, E.
oh yeah, you guys look at the shirt that Alex. Come closer to the camera.
I gotta bring it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, can you see it? Or is in my face? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
There it
You
is.
guys make sure that you guys go to the description of every video of Old School versus New School, and you check out Alex's Etsy store
Yeah.
with
Look at
his
that.
comics and everything like that. Go
Yeah,
support. Go support.
got that merch going on. I gotta wear my own stuff, E. You know what I'm saying?
You
you
know,
can't ask
I
other people to
know.
wear it.
So
You can't ask people
I
to wear
got
it and you ain't wearing it.
I got merch all over the place.
Look at there. Look at there. I'm seeing you.
Yes. But listen, y'all, we have a treat for you guys tonight. Um, I kind of been on this crusade. I'm always for the underdog. I'm always for the, for lack of better words, the persecuted, the hated on. I'm always riding for them because I feel like everybody's voice should be heard. As you can see, the title is The Power of Music. Y'all know I'm an artist. You guys know Alex has been within the industry on the film side and the music side. And it's a lot going on, as y'all see in the public eye, as far as things that are really happening. You got your conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But is it really a conspiracy? But we won't go there today. But I was scrolling on IG and I happened to see this post that I'm getting ready to show you guys. And I had to reach out to him and have a conversation because being an artist, I understand what we're up against when we are talented and talents can be used for good and evil. Our talents are our superpowers. So I'm going to play this clip. And once this clip is shown, our guest will be here so we can talk about all of the things that go into music and its power.
This one's sinister. I didn't sign an NDA on this, and if I did, I don't care. I got some briefs. So briefs are what I'm wearing right now. Sorry for the visual. But they're also, here's what we want you to send us, Paul. Musically, this is what it sounds like. This is what it feels like. Here's some visuals. Here's some audio references. However you got to get your stuff together, send us this. I've gotten those from Fox News. I've gotten those from CSNBC, CNBC. I don't even follow them, so I don't know what they're called. The liberal ones, the conservative ones, the kind of in the middle ones. You know what they want me to do for you? Make you afraid. Promise. That's what the brief said to me. Reading between the lines, and not even, some of them were more direct, like, hey, this should cause a tense feeling. This should cause like a feeling of anxiety and suspense. Threw those in the trash and deleted that. I'm not going to do that with music. Sorry to pull back the curtain, but if you still trust any news outlets, I feel sorry for you. I really do. They're full of crap.
So, hey, Paul, welcome to Old School versus New School.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Gas Man, what's going on? Before we get into the topic at hand, can you kind of tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is you actually do?
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is Paul David. I've been writing songs since I was 6, and then got real serious in junior high. Had a little junior high band, and we were terrible, but we thought we were kings. And so I got a little 4-track recorder and started recording those, and I have not stopped recording since. So had a way to make it into a career. Back in 2003, I was teaching guitar lessons, and a local label reached out, and they're like, we want to pay you for this. I was like, I want that too. Let's do it. And so is my mic on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you speaking to the people coming in the building. Hey, y'all.
Hey. Cool. And then I've been recording ever since. Moved to Nashville. So I was born and raised in Arizona, like in the mountains, and then in Phoenix. And then now I've been here since 2006. And it's been a wild ride being in more of a music industry thing. So it's been cool mostly.
Okay. So what opportunity brought it on that you started making music for the news?
Okay, so I have some I did this track for my buddy. I played at his church, and he walked straight up to me. He was the MD, music director there. And he was yelling at everybody, and I was like, man, this dude's got a bad attitude. And he walked right up to me. He goes, hey, come to my studio. Like, can you come tomorrow? I got a bunch of tracks, and I need to record them. I'll pay you $100 a song. And I was like, cool with that, because I just got fired. And so,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we cut like 5 tracks, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I was watching ABC, and I was, it was like Finding Dory or something. And I heard my guitar parts, and I was like, holy smokes, like, that's me. And I just listened, and it was a vibe. It was that show, some FBI show or something, like a little promo for them. And so he called me right back the next day and was like, hey, come to the studio, do more tracks. And I walked in, I had my guitar and my pedal board and stuff. And he was like, hey, so, I was like, I heard me on a promo for the FBI show. And he goes, yeah, man, I got paid $30,000 for that. And I was like,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's what I said, oh, should you like pay me more? And he goes,
exactly.
No, homie, you got your money.
Oh, wow. Okay, can we pause right there? Let's need a bookmark right there. Because as an artist, we talk about this a lot. First of all, you have to know what's going on in your contract when you're doing business with anybody, especially music, because when you're talented and you're gifted, people will snatch it up and use it. And if they don't have to pay, they're not going to. So you mean to tell me he and this was in church. He told you in church, I'll pay you $100 a song. You came to the studio and then he sold it for $30,000.
Yeah, grand total from that record alone, about $600,000. That was just the first promo they used it for. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit salty when he was like, nah, homie, you got your money. And I was like, hey, hold on, because all I heard was my guitar tracks, and I heard the singer he worked with. She's dope, but she sang one line, like I forget even the line, but I was just like, I heard my guitar, I heard explosions from what they added the Foley, I heard a little bit of her voice, but man, I'm on the wrong side of this industry. I can tell you that right now. And so this
happened in church.
Well, this happened at his home studio. He's got a home studio that's like, a couple $1 million studio. He's balling. But he's been doing this like audio for video since he was a kid. Like they snatched him up straight out of college. And so I started doing stuff. I asked him for advice. I was like, I'm going to be the producer next time because that's what I do anyways. And how do I do it? And he was real free flowing with the advice. So that was real cool. I'm friends with him still. He's got an
offer. At that point, he owed it to you.
He did. Yeah, he knew
it. Yeah. That's an expensive lesson to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I still got paid what we agreed on. So I'm not salty anymore because now I'm getting paid those licensing fees. So without that experience, I wouldn't have had that change of mind like, oh, there's a lot of money to be made in sync licensing.
Yeah, but you know something, Paul, it's interesting because I think as human beings, we have a moral obligation, to each other. Yes, and the lessons are not always instilling from one another, but teaching you what to avoid, the pitfalls ahead of time. If you're going to be a true mentor to someone, teach them those pitfalls. Don't make it easy because anything easy is never appreciated, right?
Yeah.
But give them the lessons and don't rob them in the process. And I think too many people take up that mantle and say the best way to do it is to hurt their pockets and to do this, and then they'll learn. It's like, no, we have a moral obligation, in my opinion, in my view, okay, to teach one another about music, industry, the contracts, things like that, instead of just turning around robbing people of money and then making them learn a hard lesson.
I'm gonna agree and disagree. I want to agree and disagree because I respect what you're saying, and I agree with that to a certain extent. But being in the music industry, like Paul, I appreciate when I ran into a brick wall because I'll never run into that brick wall again. Like, and I'm the type of person, I tell you this all the time. I feel like it's two sets of people in the world. The first one, you could tell them the fire is hot, it's going to hurt you, and they won't touch it. And then there's people like me. You tell me that the fire is hot, and I want to know how hot it is. How long can I stand the heat? When I get burned, how long will I heal from that burn to see how much more I can take? So I appreciate the brick wall because now I won't run into it. So I'm glad that you were strong enough to take that as a lesson and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I hear both of y'all. I love, like, for me personally, it taught me a lesson of what not to do to people because of how I felt when he said that. Right. I was about to record a bunch more songs for him, but I was like, man, I would do that different. I would write me an extra check for if I made 30 grand, maybe $1,000, maybe $5, whatever it is, just a thank you with a thank you note. The artist sent me a thank you note and we're real cool. But the producer was like, no, you got your money. Now, I circled back to that conversation recently. I was like, hey, remember when? Because he was asking me to do some stuff. He had me go on to actually produce tracks for him. So I'll give that to him, that he said, hey, so if you're going to produce music for video, I have too much work. Here's the work I don't want to do. Produce some stuff for the USC and, drop it, make it heavy and scream on it. And I was like, I'm your dude. Like, I've been waiting to scream. And so I did that UFC. I did music for the Titans, the Tennessee Titans over here. And I got to do some real cool gigs. So he did give me like, hey, so I get that you're more than a guitar player or you think you're more than a guitar player. How about this? And when he saw I really was, now he's an open book. So I did circle back and be like, hey, remember when you said this to me? And he's like, that sounds like something I'd say. But look, you don't even know on how many tracks I pay musicians on and never make a dime. So it's just part of my business expense every year. And I can't go back and just pay everybody all this money. At that point, he couldn't. Now he could. Now he's freaking Scrooge McDuck over there. He's rolling in it. So, but that's cool. We're still cool. 100%. I talked to him last week. He offered me a really good offer. I think I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Hey, Paul, let me ask you this, because you said you're in Nashville, right? Currently in Nashville?
Yes, sir.
Nashville's legendary, my dude, for music icons, okay? Just legendary. Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, Kenny Rogers. I mean, it just goes on and on, bro. I mean, I know I'm a music historian. I love all music. Okay.
Yeah.
And so do you feel an added pressure with all of those icons coming out of there? You know, do you feel like I have to be successful, or I may not be as respected as those icons, and it's difficult coming up under them and things of that nature? Is there any added pressure?
Every day. So my buddy Michael, who I've been talking about, is from LA. He moved here just to get away from the craziness there. And so he still operates a studio like it's LA, same rules and principles, which they follow the music guidelines to the T. Here they've made up their own rules, or forgot how to follow actual music law. So I butt my head against all the five bigs, Sony and Warner. I was there at Sony and Warner today, and it's a bit of a disaster because I think they do know the rules, or some people there do, but they're like, we're just going to do it our way. But, if you're not Kenny Chesney or Dolly or somebody like that, you don't get a lot of respect here. People look at you like, well, that's different, and I definitely ain't those folks. So it's been a little bit weird coming from Arizona, like the mountains of Arizona, and being like, hey, I'm here, let's make music. And they're like, oh, no, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into any of them? Run into any of the icons? Sorry, E.
You okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put this dude on blast because I'm not a fan of his music, but I work with his musicians a lot because they're sick, man. They're so good and they're so nice. One offered me a place to stay when this tornado hit and my power went out for a while. And he's like, just come stay at my house. He's a drummer. I'm down. And we were packing up to go stay at his house. And then my power came back on. So we stayed here. But real kind people overall. So this really big top tier country star, I'm walking out of Warner, the studio over at Warner Brothers. I just rented it and recorded some records. And he was walking in and he was much taller than I thought he'd be. And he was just in a baseball cap. And he's like, oh, let me get the door for you. And he's holding it open for me. I was like, oh, thank you. And I said his name. And he looked at me like, don't start that conversation. But just because I'm not a fan of his voice, I'm still a fan of him as a person. Like just the kindness that goes on here from the artist is awesome, bro. It is awesome, man. And you being a music fan know about Dolly. And I think she belongs on that $20 bill. Let's take that joker off. What's his name? Andrew Jackson? Heck no. He doesn't belong on any money. Nothing, dude. I have no respect for people who made their living on the backs of slaves and their empire. Not even a little bit. I think we should burn it down.
Yeah.
Going out on
and I just, we've always loved Dolly.
It
is what it is, bro. I mean, and we've always, loved Dolly. The great Loretta Lynn, we lost her last year, I believe. Just iconic. Kenny Rogers is gone now. And you guys still have Garth Brooks and others. So Nashville is just legendary. So who were your influences though? Did you ever take to any artist and say, I want to pattern myself behind them, or they inspired me to do this? Who was that?
Yeah, for me, it was 100% Prince, Rogers, Nelson.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
Should we have that talk?
Let's have that talk. I was a big Prince fan. Oh my goodness gracious.
So I sat in the theater. Oh, you too. We get you on that one. Here's something we can all agree on, right?
Okay.
So I walked into the movie theater because my sisters were older and they'd take me to see these movies up in my little town in the mountains. And we had one theater and they were showing Purple Rain. And I was way too young to watch that, but I sat there and watched it and I was like, so that's what it looks like. I just started playing guitar. And I was like, okay, that's what it is. And then he like slapped a girl and I was like, oh, that's what it isn't. That's not cool at all. But then the whole thing, like the songs had me. And so I was begging that Christmas for a Purple Rain tape and I got it. It was a little white Purple Rain tape and I wore it out. And so that changed my life, musically speaking. And I also learned the division between just because I love his music doesn't mean I love everything about him. Because I'm also the hugest Michael Jackson fan. When they dropped Thriller, we would sit
Yeah.
around for days waiting, like, oh, when are we going to watch this scary werewolf movie?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I love those artists deeply, and I'm deeply connected to them. But then I went on into rock, heavy metal, blues, all this stuff. But that's where it started for me. Prince and Michael, and they were doing their thing.
You know what's interesting is that they always try to put Mike and Prince competing against one another, and they were actually very good friends. You know?
Yep.
Hey, Mike, guitar. I definitely want some lessons.
Oh, come on. Hey,
that's what you're doing? Oh.
Come on, I got mine too. Let's do it right now.
I definitely want some lessons. Listen.
All right.
And this is heavy. Oh my God. Yes.
And I can't sing it, but that's where the lyrics happen.
Never meant to cause you any sorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you're a bigger Prince fan than me, bro. I mean, I know all the Prince stuff, man. Just
all right. What's your favorite Prince song?
Stuff that was underground.
Okay.
One song. I mean, there's Controversy. There's 1999. There's Diamonds and Pearls. There's so many Prince. You can't name one. The same thing with Mike. You can't name one song.
No.
In no way.
I'll tell you, early on for me, it was Darling Nikki, and I should have never heard that song early.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. And then If I Was Your Girlfriend, and then
Let's Go Crazy.
And then Adore had me like, that's what love sounds like.
Adore is a vocal masterpiece. You know, just a vocal, the levels of tone with that he hit, the notes that he hit in that song. So yeah.
I saw him live a few times too. Did you ever see him live?
I did see him live. Yeah, in New York. I'm a New Yorker, so he came to Madison Square Garden, and I saw him there. Yeah, so absolutely awesome. Yeah. So and with
listening to your emotion right now. This is the power of music. No, seriously, like this is the power of music. You like, I can hear a song right now, and it will take me back to the first moment I ever heard it. Like, there's one song that I can't listen to because it came out when I was pregnant. I had morning sickness. Every time I hear that song, I feel nauseous.
Wow.
Like the power of music is so huge. Music can make you want to make love. Music can make you want to fight. Music can make you cry. Music can make you miss a loved one that's not here anymore. So what about the news?
Okay.
Well, like let's get into that story a little bit because that's
because we were about to talk about Prince so much.
Yeah.
So I had to really got back in.
We'll talk later, all right, Alex?
Yeah, we'll talk later, Paul.
Yes, please stay once the outro goes off.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I fully 100% believe in the power of music. And it's been proven to me over and over again. I love your story of how that brings back morning sickness, or for me, Purple Rain just makes me just stop and listen, or any of those songs, or honestly, any Michael song makes me like dance or feel whatever feeling I was supposed to feel. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And so when the news, so I get in all these briefs now. I'm in it. I'm making money, making music for TV. Anytime you see any video of any sort, there's a 99% chance there's music happening too. Unless it's just a dude talking, like when I was talking about the news. It's just another dude talking about the news. But usually if there's some production quality, there's a soundtrack. And if there's a big enough budget production level audience, then they're going to pay pretty well for that music to license it. So people a lot of times, I know y'all probably know this, but a lot of times they think, oh, you're going to sell your song to, no, I ain't selling nothing to nobody. They have to ask me for a license because I own my own masters. Exactly. I own my own publishing. I own my own songwriting. And I learned that from a dude named Steve Vai, a monster guitar player. And he was just like, hey, hold on to that publishing, hold on to, own your own masters if you pay for them. And all these little principles, I just read this huge article about really got a 30-year advance from Steve Vai on the business of music. And so I'm getting all these briefs and I can I can dig in if I want. Like there was an Apple one. Shoot, I can't with that one. Sorry. There's been just briefs from everybody, and they're all different values depending on how much that company can make from your music being behind their video, supporting the emotion of that video. And when I saw those news ones, I don't remember how much they were, but I saw the fee and it was, let's say $5,000 or something. And it was from, I think the first one I saw was from Fox, and I already had a bad taste in my mouth because it was around the 2020 stuff. And I was like, man, these dudes are like, these folks are spewing hatred. I'm not having any part, but I read it and I was just like, oh, okay. Whatever your agenda is, count me out. Count me out, man. So I took it, I threw it in the trash. And then within days, I got one from a couple from like CNN and MSNBC and all those. And it looked like they had copy pasted what they were asking for. They want that music with like minor seconds, like tension. They didn't say minor seconds. It was like tension. We want anxiety, something that causes anxiety, suspense. And I get it because they want you glued to it. Like, oh, I'm not safe. My family's not safe if I don't finish watching this story after this commercial break. Like, oh, I need to stay in this. Like, I need to feel safe and watching this. No, it's.
And I don't want to speed past that. Because I don't know if you guys heard what he said. He said that they wanted anxiety and what else?
Anxiety. They didn't use the word fear, but it was like synonyms. You know, anxiety, a tense feeling. Suspense, like building, you know, the crescendo sort of intensity, and then in 2 minutes or however they say it now, and they break for the commercials to go ahead and make some money, and then they come back and drop the hook on you like black folks are evil and they're trying to kill you, and then on the other ones they're like white folks are evil and they're trying to kill you, and I'm like, okay, maybe, but why are you telling us this? What's for you?
And it's the fact that they're aware, they know what they're doing. No problem for me.
Yeah.
It's very deliberate.
And you know what's interesting, Paul? I'm a little older than you guys. I grew up in the late 60s throughout the 70s. And when I was a kid, the news was the Bible. 6 o'clock news was the Bible, right? But I was always curious about the fact that for the whole half hour, it was usually 30-minute newscast, right? For the first 23, 24 minutes, murder, mayhem, rape, destruction, all this, right? And then the last 2 or 3 minutes, the firemen are getting a cat out of a tree. They want a feel-good story at the end.
They don't pay me for that. Those don't pay nothing. It's just a little jingle like, hey, feel better about yourself and join us next week. It's almost as if they show a good deed first, people will turn the channel. Sure.
And this kind of stuff has made us desensitized over the years. So when you hear on the news, 3 people were killed today, you don't feel nothing. You don't feel anything because you hear it every day, all day. So in saying that, what do you feel being on the inside? The intention,
I feel angry.
Okay.
So when the news is on, so there may or may not be somebody in my household who likes the news, and whatever, if that scratches that itch for you, that's your personal choice. But when I walk in the room and it's talking about, they start here in Nashville with what black person robbed what store, killed. They never talk about them killing other black people. It's always killed or robbed white people, always. And fact check me on that if you want to watch this trash. Wow. And I'm like, you know what? It makes me angry. I'm not going to go in too far because I don't know how to do it without cussing.
You can say whatever you want to say over here.
All right. I think it's just complete and total bullshit. And they need to stop showing that. Because what is their agenda? To keep scare white people into watching their news, whatever. You know what? I'm tired of it. We're in the South. If you want to talk about who did what to who, let's talk about it. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how historically here, black folks have been disenfranchised, robbed, raped. They don't want to talk about that. because they're not going to make any money off of that, of telling the
Right.
truth. They might even have to figure out like, hey, so maybe we should do things a little different now that's 2023 and stop disenfranchising people who built every historical building in this town. And so I don't know. I think it's trash. I'm from the Wild Wild West, and it's like they murdered a lot of natives murdered them, and there was a war, but they're kind of like pretty nonchalant about it. Like the natives, indigenous folks of this land stay on the reservation, and when they come off the reservation, they do their thing. But white people don't go on the reservation much. I did. I'm part native, and so I just wanted to see what was going on over there. And you know what? Community is happening on the res.
Yeah.
And
you know what movie you should watch, Paul? TheeEnicole. It's a very long movie, but it's a great movie. You know, Scorsese directed, De Niro, DiCaprio, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Whoa!
Watch that movie.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Okay. Awesome freaking movie. It's long, over 3 hours, but it's awesome.
Is it a Western?
You know what I mean? It's not a Western. It's about the Osage tribe, how white men came in and destroyed the Osage tribe for the oil and the riches, and how methodical they were in doing it. And I'll leave that there. And this is Scorsese, De Niro, DiCaprio. So you can't sit around and go, "Oh, that's black people with crying racism again." No, this is Scorsese.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
Italian folks.
you're Italian folk. You can't blame black folks for this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
But I don't want to. We got some more people in the chat, and what I want to do is I want to play your clip again, and then I want to ask a question for anybody who missed the clip, so they know exactly what we're talking about right now. So give me 1 second. Here we go.
This one's sinister. I didn't sign an NDA on this, and if I did, I don't care. I got some briefs. So briefs are what I'm wearing right now. Sorry for the visual, but they're also here's what we want you to send us, Paul. Musically, this is what it sounds like. This is what it feels like. Here's some visuals. Here's some audio references. However you got to get your stuff together, send us this. I've gotten those from Fox News. I've gotten those from CSNBC, CNBC. I don't even follow them, so I don't know what they're called. The liberal ones, the conservative ones, the kind of in the middle ones. You know what they want me to do for you? Make you afraid. Promise. That's what the brief said to me. Reading between the lines. And not even, some of them were more direct. Like, hey, this should cause a tense feeling. This should cause like a feeling of anxiety and suspense. Threw those in the trash and deleted that. I'm not going to do that with music. Sorry to pull back the curtain, but if you still trust any news outlets, I feel sorry for you. I really do. They're full of crap.
So my question is, what and Gasman said he read the book about what you were talking about, Alex.
Yeah.
My question is, being that we are in the music industry and we kind of understand the powers that be that everybody talks about, right? So, and we already know that news, most of the time they're lying. 2, they're pushing propaganda and false statistics to people with this music that's playing with your emotions and your feelings and setting off chemicals in your brain. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep music is and works. What gave you the strength to actually say no? Because we know when you don't do what you're told in the music industry, you can be blackballed. They're going to start playing with your pockets. So what made you feel like, you know what, it's not right and I'm not doing it and I don't care?
You're muted.
Young. Oh, yeah.
I did that.
Okay. I think it goes back to hanging out with natives when I was young and having the people up in the little town I was at say, oh, they're bad news, and then find out for myself they weren't. And then it always put that healthy distrust for authority in my mind. Like, let me find out for myself. Just like you said, if they say it's going to burn you, let me find out. I put my hands through the fire all the time. And if I hold it there, I'm going to get burned. But, it's fun. I like fire. And and still to this day, I've got so my firstborn is considered black here in America because his mom is from South Chicago. She's very dark skinned. And so they're like, oh, check one or the other, black or white. And I just watch him and he looks at me and I'm like, do whatever you want. And then he's like, is there an other? I'm like, that's my dude.
I always click other.
Cool. Yeah. I look at that like, well, I'm a mutt, so I don't know what you want to do with this info. Let's just leave that blank for now. What do you want from me? But yeah, the music thing, like, I've been threatened to be blackballed and you'll never work in this town again. Guess what? I'm still working. So they'd have to literally come to my house. And even then, that would not be an easy win for them. So I guess it's just a lack of fear and a lack of respect for the authorities that be, and the ability to kind of just trust God no matter what. Like, I'm never supposed to trust man.
Exactly.
I'm supposed to trust God and not fear. That's in the Bible so much. If you missed that, I don't think you read it correctly. Fear not. Don't be afraid of him. Don't be afraid of him.
Yeah. And you know something, Paul, my dad would always tell me, and God rest his soul, he would say, I don't know where you're going, but you're leaving here. We're all destined to leave here. So you have to live your most authentic life fearlessly. You can't be afraid of these people because you're leaving here. Guess what? Let's say they did get rid of you. They're going to be right behind you. We're all leaving here. So what difference does it? I don't never understand the purpose and why they plan on doing this stuff. And then you get these old 80-year-old, 90-year-old men plotting. You about to be out of here tomorrow. So what are you plotting somebody else's death for? So I don't get why they do this stuff. It's just the great universal balance that we must have: life, death, sickness, wellness, that kind of thing, hunger, fullness. It's just a great universal balance that we need, I guess. You don't recognize one without the other, but I'm going to segue a little bit because TheeEnicole has been in this industry, as she said, and I have been propositioned in this business sexually. Okay. Many years ago. Okay. Yeah. Of course, I ain't doing that shit. So, you can proposition all they want. Has it ever come to you that way? Have you ever been propositioned in that way? It's a very perverted business, as you know. So have you ever been?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I'm just like, hey, that's a hard no. Like, it's been from dudes mostly. And I'm like, hey man, not for nothing, but I'm straight. So I'm not into dudes. And they just kind of are like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then they want to talk about other stuff. Cool. I think it's more like pervasive. If I was a woman, there's such a power balance with these old folks who think that because they have money, they can see whatever they want and use what power they have to get what they want. And I see more devastation and people slipping stuff in other people's drinks like that. Yeah. And I'm not here for it, man. I got a daughter too, and she's real good at music from a very early age. And I'm starting to think more like, hey, what kind of music industry is she going to come to? Is she going to come to the same trash fire I came to? Because let somebody mess around and slip something in her drink.
Yeah, all bets are off.
All bets.
Yeah,
I don't care. I'll go do my time with a straight head. I don't care. Like, nah. So what I can do now?
Crazy because that's like it's a rite of passage when it comes to the music industry, and it doesn't matter our gender, because me being a woman in this industry, if I was busting it open, I'd be exactly where I wanted to be years ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And those brick walls that we was just talking about, those brick walls made me, okay, I learned how to engineer myself. Now I can record myself. Now I can mix my own music. Now I can master my own music. You know what I mean? So those walls, we didn't like them when we ran into them, but I appreciate them now because at this point, like you both were saying, you can't blackball me because I create music. So you can not work with me, but it's not gonna stop me from creating music that's gonna be dope. Like,
especially the way technology, the way it is now, anybody can be independent. You know what I mean? Go out here and earn a living. You just got to create your audience, you know, create your following, and do it that way. You
definitely
know,
Gasman. Gasman said, I got people in the industry, and trust me, it gets weird and real wicked. Wicked is like the nice word for it. Like, it's sick. It's really sick. Especially, it's like in the industry, let's use wicked, right? They can see us coming from a mile away because we shine bright. You know, we got the Most High leading us. So we stick out in a crowd. And I feel that those questions, when we get propositioned, just like Dave Chappelle said, like, they're giving you a choice. It's up to you to say yes or no. You know what I'm saying? That's why they get a lot of people who they don't come from anything. You know, people who, you know, once they make it, their whole family sitting on their back. They've never experienced a certain quality of life. You know what I'm saying? It's very predatorial.
It sure is.
Yeah.
I feel like modern day slavery to me a lot of times looks like this. Like, I'm also a big Jay-Z fan, and I love how he did it. Like, he created his own shot when the record labels were like, you suck, you're terrible. And so they went and got DJ Primo, and him and his friends got enough money to make that album Reasonable Doubt. And when they dropped it, I really listened. That was the first East Coast stuff I really checked into. But
legendary.
He laid out the whole design of, hey, here's how I did it. And he was using all these Italian movie quotes, like the mobster quotes, because he saw it as like, oh, this is basically the mob running this. And then I'm independent. So I'm going to make my own mob. Good luck. And he sure enough did it, man. I really respect his career. My neighbor was a tour manager for him and Kanye, and she had nothing but good things to say about him, which I loved hearing. Because, you know, they say never meet your heroes. And so I would love to meet him someday. But in the meantime, I've gained so much wisdom from everything he's dropped, his career. I don't agree with everything he's done or everything he says, but still respect the hell out of Jay-Z and his ability to stick to his guns, you know, like, hey, this is what I believe, this is what I do. This time messed up. I'm real sorry about it. I'm not going to do that again. But I love artists when they're like true, when they're true to what they believe. Even if I don't agree with them, I still respect it, you know? And I don't respect greedy little, like, I don't even know what to call them in English, but I don't respect greedy people who profit off of the work of others, and they take 90%, and then their friends get the other 7%, and then they may give you a little 3% if you're a good boy and follow the rules, or a good girl and get the abortion that they told you to get. They
are really destroying people's lives. On the artist side, and then the listener side, because like you said, a lot of people, you know, Alex, we talked about this before. People do not realize the power of music. Like, if you are not a strong you don't have a strong mentality, you will go. Like, the energy will lead you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever been to a concert, and it doesn't matter what genre, when it's in the peak of everybody feeling the music, everybody jumping around, the emotions is going, it's like a drug.
Yeah, I mean, think about this, guys. Think about this. You ever been on the expressway? You got your music on. You're on the expressway, right? Your song come on. It's banging. This is your shit right here. And you look down. You're doing 90. You didn't even realize you were going that fast. But because that's your song, all of a sudden you just, you know, and you go, what the hell? 95? What the hell? Because the song is pumping your adrenaline, it's getting you going. That's what music does, man. That old saying, music calms a savage beast or whatever. That's why these sayings exist. Because of the power.
Our prime example, you know, I'm petty, y'all. God is still working on me.
Yeah, I know that.
I am the new school, but y'all remember back in the day when cell phones first got hot and people would use the songs for their voicemails, and you knew when I was pissed off depending on the song that was on my voicemail. You know, in relationship, your girl got a certain song on repeat, you done messed up. Or you might be getting some. Like, it depends on what song you walk in the house on. Like, music is very, very instrumental. Excuse the pun. And I want to get a little spiritual for a second, right? Because we out here believe in the Most High. How can you, on one hand, say you believe in God? You know the whole story of Lucifer. He was the angel of music. He led the other angels in praise and worship. Why would you not think he gonna come here and music be his number one tactic?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't the Bible say something about do not be deceived in sheep's clothing, a wolf in sheep's clothing?
Yeah.
You know, God should not be mocked.
Frequencies exactly, gas man.
Yeah. But you know, I want to circle back to something, Paul, you said earlier when you said that when you were proposition, you said, dude, I'm not gay, so we can just get past that. You know, this is not an indictment on gay people. No, I want to make this very clear.
Yes,
okay. So nobody's judging here, but the power is in what they're doing. Going to get another gay guy, that's easy. They want to break a straight dude, okay, or a straight woman. Or a straight woman. That's what they want to break, to show that they have the power to make you do something you don't want to do because they have something you want. Okay, and how bad do you want it? Are you willing to sell your soul, your spirit, your integrity? What's for sale here?
And once you sell it, there is no refunds. I want to say something about these frequencies right quick, because that's exactly what it is. And the music industry knows what frequency does what. Like, I really need y'all. Don't just watch our shows and listen to what we say and going about your business. Like, do your own research on the stuff we talking about. Look up these things, because we not just blowing smoke up y'all. We really not. Like, frequencies have power, and they bring about, even the vibrations of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, a vibration can move mountains. Like, that's what causes earthquakes and landslides and all that type stuff. Like, it's serious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Man, I completely agree. And I even had a friend, and he is a friend. I'm gonna still call him that. But we moved out to LA. He's like, tell me what's good. And I was like, all right, you want to work with this person who's real cool. And then you want to work with these two ladies, and they're married and this and that. And he's like, so tell me about those lesbians. Are they down? I was like, hey, like, shut the hell up for a second. Like, those are my friends, and don't approach them like that, or I'm not giving them your contact info, and vice versa. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry. It was a joke, but I realized I crossed the line. I was like, we're good. But yeah. And I actually didn't give him their contact info because I didn't like that. But it's like, hey, if you let people, they'll do whatever they want to do and use their power, because he's very rich and wealthy from this industry. They'll use their power to get whatever they want. I don't think he never even saw him yet. It doesn't matter. He just wanted to know, like, oh, hey, all right, whatever put that in his head to say that to me. But I'm thankful he apologized so that we can move forward, because we got some pending deals on the table. But I'm like, I don't put up with that crap for a second, dude.
Well, you nipped it in the bud immediately. That's what you have to do. Nip it soon as you see it. They know where you stand, and if they're going to proceed forward, they know you're not the one to fuck with. You know what I mean? So you have to nip that in the butt immediately.
It's like what they say when you go to prison, just walk right up to the biggest dude and start a fist fight right there. Just let's get it on. Let's get it cracking, because I know it's coming sooner or later. That's kind of how I approach the music industry. It's got weird for me here in Nashville, because there's a lot of really nice people with families, and it's not LA, it's not New York. I lived in New York for a minute, but I thought about living in LA, and I was like, nah, I just can't. And when I found Nashville, and there's a real music industry, you can really make a living here and not have to sell your soul. Like, I sleep in my bed almost every night. I still do a little touring and go out a little bit, but it's a great place. And so I can't approach this like guns a-blazing, like, oh, I'm from the Wild Wild West, and this is how we do things and stuff. It's like, oh, calm down. First of all, you're in my office. So now I chill and I wait for it. And I'm surprised there is still a lot of good in music. And that's why I feel comfortable here. I've had to acclimate and take away some of the thorns and some of the rough edges that I came with, and just say, hey, it's not the Wild Wild West. There's some things I'd love to change. And I find those kindred spirits in talks like this. Even in New York, I'm going to have to take a trip out there real soon to talk to Sony and Warner about some stuff they definitely don't want to talk about. But I need to clear my conscience legally before I put out this song I'm about to put out. And they own the publishing, kind of. So, and they may have stolen that from families, but they don't want to hear that from me. And I won't start there.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I commend you, like, really, because it's hard. It's hard, period, to do the right thing every day. It's hard. It's challenging because you want to clap back at people. You might want to slap some people in their face, maybe worse, you know. It's really hard taking a high road, having integrity on a consistent basis. So I just commend you for standing on what you believe in and not going for the okie doke just because the check look good.
Yeah. And you have to be a master of picking and choosing your battles. You know, everything's not a battle. Everything's not a war. People are going to be who they are. You just got to stick to your guns and stick with your integrity, you know, and they know what they're dealing with.
Let me say something
about you're not going to change them.
Yeah.
Let me say something about this comment real quick.
They're not my children. They're going to make their own mistakes, and they're going to face the judgment for their mistakes. Exactly. I'm going to face the judgment for my mistakes, and I got to leave it there in most of these situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on, because I got to say something about that too. And I feel like a lot of people miss that, what you just said, Paul. People, when they try to retaliate, you know, they're like, well, they did this to me. They have to answer for that. And then when you retaliate, you then have to answer for that. So you just creating this ongoing cycle of you paying for stuff when you could just walk away.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Right.
Now, about this comment right here, he said, that's why I'd rather stay independent. I'm independent as well. And I think that nowadays, people need to understand what true independent is. Because I feel like a lot of artists think they are independent. But when you are putting your songs on a lot of these sites and you're clicking OK in all these boxes, they don't realize that they are still paying a lot of these corporations through the distribution. Like, so are they really independent? You know what I'm saying? Like, we really need to connect with like-minded people, and we need to start building our own infrastructure, because you think you independent, but some people really not independent, depending on what distribution company they're using, what they've agreed to. Because just because you didn't go into a record label and get a contract and read that, there are still contracts on those sites where you're releasing your music. You got to read everything.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the price to play the game on their platform. And that's like a necessary evil in the current situation, because, for instance, Apple is the first $1 trillion company. Now, if I look over there, I got the new iMac Mini M2 Pro. I'm down. I got, this is on iPhone. And then if I look around, there's a couple laptops. So I'm supporting them. I'm paying them money every month. Oh, I'm out.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, you good.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Alex has no problems with his glasses.
When I get on any Apple platform, I have to play the rules by their game. And I'm okay with that because they do pay me for the music I put out. And then with Spotify, same deal. They actually wind up paying me more than Apple. I know the sheets say different per stream, but I get a lot more streams on Spotify. And then same with YouTube is very much more open-ended. And then you saw me on IG. Well, I had 200 followers last week, and I got like 3,500 this week because of that video. And I guess it touched a nerve, which is cool. But I'm like trying to keep that about the music. So I got to steer the ship back there sometime, because I want people to listen to the music. Yeah. That's more important than like, yeah, the news sucks, but I bet you already knew that. Exactly. It's sensationalized, but you probably already knew that. So it resonated with folks, and that's awesome. But when it's on their platform, they own it, and they pay me like fractions of a penny for every stream I get. And because that one's gotten 300 grand, like 300,000 on there, a couple million on Facebook, they're actually paying me for that. But I get to say whatever I want. I can't say some of what I said here, because I would for sure get kicked off because I signed their contract. But I'm cool with that. I'm gonna play by your rules, but I'm still gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'll just filter it.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we do the same thing because sometimes we be like, wait a minute, we don't talk about that on Patreon. We're not gonna do that here.
Right.
I still want to make money with my music, but I like what you said earlier, which is very, very important. It's about those masters. I would never sell my masters to anybody. Now we can talk distribution. Yeah. We can talk promotion. We can never talk my masters.
There's something even in the word, right? I know where the word comes from. I mean, they used to make a record, and that was the master record, and then they would slave other record players to it so they could make copies. Right. But still, I think they touched on something with the master slave thing, because if you look at Robert Johnson and what he did and how he died poor and broke, but how many, many people, and they just happened to be white folks, profited greatly and built mansions off of the back of his creative work. There's something there.
And you know what's interesting is you know when Michael bought the Beatles rights and Elvis's rights, he had Slide and Family Stone's rights. You know, Mike had a lot of people's rights to their music. That's when he became public enemy number one. Okay, because they wanted that.
Remember when he had beef with Eminem and he was talking junk about Mike and he just went and bought his masters.
Yeah, he just went and bought Eminem masters.
I did not know that. That just blessed me.
I love
it. Yeah, look, listen, Mike was ruthless in the business game.
To say about me?
Right, yeah, that's what he said.
Now come ask your permission to put your own records out.
Yep.
You know, so but the thing about that is like everybody know Mike never touched no child in a negative way. But they had to find something because he had all the masters, he had all his power. I mean, you own the Beatles rights? I mean, you serious? Because Paul McCartney was public. That pissed him off. You know what I mean? Because they had just did The Girl Is Mine and these different songs, say. They were buddies, which, was fine, but business is business.
And once you get entangled in that web of the music industry, when you first come out, you're peaking. You might get records. You're gonna get on the charts, but after a while, you start to plateau. At that point, you are worth more dead to them than alive. Once you signed out those contracts, and if you don't have a fan base like that, a lot of artists that are gone right now, they didn't see the success in life that their records had in death.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to bring up with Sony and Warner. If they push me too far on releasing this song with the artist who originally made it hugely famous, it's a worldwide song. Everybody's heard it in every country I've been to. But if they don't press me and they're like, yeah, let's do this and that. But if they start to be like, hey, we own those masters, we own that publishing, we're going to do this, I would tell them, hey, have you ever heard of the Children of God? And they'll be like, what? It's like, it's a gospel group. That's the songwriter ripped it off from them. Let's listen to it, because he actually told me that, and I videotaped him, but not to be scandalous. I asked him, can I videotape this guitar lesson? And he said, yeah, of course, I don't care, because he's made hundreds of millions of dollars in the music industry. And he's like, hey, I actually ripped this riff off from the Children of God. It goes like this. And I was sitting there like, I looked at my camera like, hold on, this is one of the biggest songs of all time. And I don't think you should say that, even if you did, but it's there. And so if Sony and Warner want to at me for like, we own you, we own this, we own that, their family, because their family's on the record, I'm going to be like, hey, this is going to be $100 million lawsuit at least. Do you really want to own this family's actual property? It's intellectual property, but it's still property. Do you really want to own it? And do you want to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to the families of the Children of God because they wrote it? They're going to freak out. And I only want to talk to legal at that point. I don't want to talk to any exec. I don't want death threats. I don't care about all that. Let's just talk.
Isn't that like poetic justice? Just the name of the group, though.
It is. It is. It is. I can't
wow.
wait.
Yeah.
He said that's exactly how Sony going to come at you. Watch, probably.
Wow. But hey,
Yeah.
I'll be in your city, so I hope you got my back.
You
Yeah,
know.
we connected for life now. We definitely got your back because I just have a heart for truth tellers. Like, even like you said earlier, like I may not agree with everything you do or everything that you stand for in life, but what I have to always respect is the truth.
Mhm.
Like what you do on your free time away from me it's none of my business.
Yeah.
But when it comes to facts, especially within business and over top of that, my music business, I have to respect the facts, and I can respect you and not be your friend. I don't have to be your best friend to respect what you say and respect you in business.
And I always been a person where I love this art form, man. I love music. I love movies. I love comic books. You know, you see my t-shirt, Paul, you know, these are
Real little.
Hello.
characters I created. It's my own superhero, and I got many like that, you know. And you know, I always been a respecter of the art form, but I hate the business of it, you know, because to me, the business people, the ones without the gifts, without the talent, you know, they don't respect the craft. They don't. They don't respect the craft. They don't respect people. They respect money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their
And
favorite sound is the sound of a cash register.
that's it. That's it. So, and that attitude is kind of what has destroyed the industry, you know, in my opinion. And I think it's going to take some time to turn it around, but it will.
Oh, baby.
The baby would be interviewed too.
I know. She's like, she's got no shirt on. She's in her diaper. She is yelling. I might have to go handle that real soon.
Well, we bring it to a close. Just stay with us for just 1 second after the outro. But I just want to thank you again for coming because, like I said, everybody don't have the, excuse my language, but everybody don't have the balls to tell the truth. Everybody don't have the strength to stand on what they believe in, not care about the consequences, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So I just commend you for not only making the right choice, but after making that choice, because you didn't have to tell nobody what was going on. After you made that choice, you came on social media and told us what was going on. So I just commend you for that. I can't wait to see what happens, from our connecting because everything happens for a reason. So
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
I definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all too. I can feel a kindred spirit right away. So yeah, let's continue the conversation. I know we're about to all celebrate Christmas and hang out with our families. That's gonna be lovely. But at some point we'll come back and we'll just have some talks about, hey, maybe we can help each other out,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, man. Yes. So you guys make sure you guys go support him. His links to his social media is in the description. Hit that like button also. And while you're in the description, make sure that you also go and check out Alex's Etsy store where all of his comics, because he has the ebook on there, right?
The ebook is available for digital download.
The ebook is there. His merch is there. Y'all know we big on support over here. I don't play that. In the galaxy, we gonna support. I don't care what you look like. I do kind of care what you stand for, but I don't care what you look like. We gotta start supporting each other. You know what I'm saying? Because we live in a world where people do not care about people.
And we got to try to figure out a way to really get this color thing out of it, because that's the thing that really keeps us all divided. Because at the end of the day, we're all just human beings, bruh.
Yes, sir.
So,
at this point, he took the words out of my mouth. I say this all the time. I say I'm a mutt. I literally say that because at this point, it's about to be 2024. Nobody is 100% blooded nothing. We all have little pieces of everything in us. Like, look at us. We all look exotic. Like, some more exotic than others, but we all have a little bit of something in us. So I wish that would go away too, because we all bleed the same color.
What'd you say? Some more rocks? You talking about me? Don't start with my personal life. More. She said more erotic, Paul. She said it. I heard her.
I think
I
it was
said
exotic. But it
exotic.
could go either way.
We're not messing with Alex today. Make sure y'all tune in next Monday. We will be here same time, same place. And I hope you guys have a productive week. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for story time. I have a sex therapist on.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Make sure y'all tune in. I will see you guys later.